Well, hello everyone. Hope everybody is staying on the upside. Going to give this thing a try today. Working on a new setup, and I'm just going to go over my setup while we are trying to do this live stream here today. And so I'm going to make myself disappear. And what I'm using is Windows 11 Enterprise LTSC. As we go through the settings here and drop down to System and About, you can see that I'm running Windows 11 IoT Enterprise LTSC. The IoT being kind of an extended life of it. It's based on 24H2, and then there's your build right there. I did manage to get it licensed without going through Microsoft, because it will cost you $1 or $2. You have to have license to buy the license through them, but they are third parties and links and commands that you can run within your computer or the command line, which would be, I don't know, let's take a look right here. And I always keep a record of this stuff. And there's some links right there that you can run. Just a little quick peek there. Anyway, so it's legit. It really is Windows Enterprise LTSC. Now, depending upon your feelings about it, some says it's illegal to use LTSC. Well, if it bothers you, don't do it. But I'm just saying that there is access to it if you know how to find it. So anyway, that being said, that's what I'm running here today. This is my daily. I have a few others that I record off of, which one is that I use my drum software is just on a Windows stripped down version, which I will talk about in just a little bit. Now, I'm going to disappear again, and I'm going to go to a website. While we're on that, I'm going to start over here and talk about this in just a moment. I was asked a question, what web browser do I like? Well, Brave and then Chrome. Everybody has their opinions on it, and I'm often asked, how do I feel? How do I feel about Edge? Well, believe it or not, it's a lot better than it used to be. But you would have to ask me, how do I feel about AI and all of that? Now, that is a whole different thing right there. I really think AI will be used to bring forth a cashless society, in which eventually that will lead to a tool that will be used within the mark of the beast, but that is a whole different message there. I am not really for it right now in ways that it can be handy, but for me, I try to stay away from it. That's why I'm on LTSC. I can eliminate a lot of that, or a debloated or a stripped down version of Windows 11. You may ask me, well, what are you doing using Windows when there's Linux? Well, my drum software and a lot of apps I use has to be through a Windows or a Mac OS, and I'd like to keep my arm and leg. Just saying. And back to the website, so that means I need to disappear again. I'm having fun with that one, ain't I? But anyway, now we are talking today about debloated and stripped down versions of Windows 11. And in fact, let's do this. Now, you can do it yourself by just going to settings and making a few changes, such as might change the notifications a little if you don't need some of it. I always drop down here at the bottom and make sure. Usually, if it's Windows 11 Home or Pro, these will be, there'll be 3 of them. I always just unclick them. Here's the biggest thing, privacy. Yours may be something else up here, but I always uncheck those. And as settings and stuff requires a Microsoft account in some cases. Right here is the ones. You may have more. I always just unclick both of them. And also, you can get rid of speech or inking and typing, dynamic and feedback. There's several little things you can do in here to debloat it. And you can always go to apps and remove the ones that you're not using, exception of that one, and that's pretty well what Windows is running off of. And you would just simply go over here to 3 dots and uninstall. Now, Microsoft Edge, you won't be able to do that unless you do things a little different, unless you own LTSC. But a lot you can do. Here you can make a few tweaks. You can run light dark mode, which everybody knows about that. And right here I always unclick these. So you can go through it and debloat it your own self, okay? This takes time. Or, this appear on, you can go with now, oh wait a minute, we need to be here. Here's the one that I mainly use, is Chris Titus. Highly recommend him. He's safe to use. His software, his links. But you would copy this, and you would go to a terminal, or Windows is PowerShell, and you would open up one of those. You'd want to run administrator. This one looks good. I don't know why I ain't pinned that. And then you would just put that in the command prompt or the PowerShell here. And need a keyboard. We use this one. And then in a few minutes, we should have the software pop up here. And it takes a minute because I'm streaming and recording, and this ain't a big computer. Okay, here it is, faster than I thought. Anyway, here in this little tool here, you can you don't have to worry about searching everywhere for browsers and different software that you may want to install. You can do it all right here. Once you choose what you want to choose, you just install it. And here's the one I like. Tweaks, I'm into that. Now, if you don't want to really get serious into this, you just click that one and then hit run. No, that don't work with me. I hit standard, and not only that, but I will go in and click a few other things. Now, if you're not running, let me start at the bottom. OneDrive, if you're using it, don't do none of this stuff. But I don't use it, so I always go through the list. Now, set classic right click. That's the old menu like Windows 10. Of course, I like that. Heck, I would be running Windows 10 if I could get my graphic to join up with, or the Enterprise LTSC for that matter. If you want performance, just click performance. Of course, why not? Throw a turbo on this thing. Get her going. Also over here, If you want ultra performance, I'm going to try to do this. Hope I don't mess something up. But this will be what I'm talking about right here. Right here. I've already got it on it. Now let me say something right here. This isn't a big computer, so, ultimate performance, high performance. Some says you're going to melt it to the ground. It's only going to do what it's going to do. Really, mine works about as good on balance as it is on high performance or ultimate performance. Just showing you here, though, if you have a big computer like a high-end gaming computer that puts out the performance, well, you can go with this. So that's what this little thing does, is activates that, even in Windows 11 Home or Pro. See, I'm running LTS, Enterprise LTSC, so I automatically get that choice if it helps me or not. Anyway, you can do that. So you'd go through here, and I always just recall, I don't need it for me. Now, if you're running this Edge stuff, you don't want to mess with that stuff. If you use Edge or some of these other things that we may check here. Okay, just don't. If you use that in Edge, it isn't that bad. I mean, you can use it, but thing about Windows, they put so much on here that I personally am never going to use. So, of course, I'm going to run this software. I always get that one. Microsoft Copilot, I don't use it. And two, if you want to use it, all you got to do is have Google Chrome here and their browser right here, and it's got it anyway. Just saying, okay? Anyway, when you get it the way you want it, just run tweaks, okay? And it will run it through the command prompt. I'm not going to run it because I already have. And then once you get done with it, you just restart it. Right here on your updates, if you don't want it updating everything, you can just do the security update right here, okay? Now I'm to the one that I want to be at. Now this one, you can create your own ISO image. In other words, I'm running out of places to go here. You can go to, surprisingly, this whole thing's working pretty good. To here, and let's type in Microsoft. Let's type in what we got here. Okay, Windows. Windows 11 download. Let's try that. It should take us to their link. Right here is their main link. Right now what's available is version 25H2. And I always drop down here and get this ISO image right here. And what you're going to do with this, you would make you a flash drive. A little USB thumb drive, flash drive, yeah, whatever. And you would choose your language. You would choose this, and then you would do this. And I'm not going to download it, but choose your language. Really? I need English US, but whatever yours is, confirm it. And then you should get a link here. And you would download that. Once you get it downloaded, you just leave it in your download folder. And once it gets done, you would go back over here to this, and you would just hit get, select your own, and then get it here, and then it would bring it up. I don't have it on here, but once it did, it would do its magic here. And then there'd be another, excuse me, another box in the drop down here, and you would fill it out the way you'd want it. Of course, when you're doing something like that, you going out something like that to happen. Then when you run it, you would go to Rufus or something like that, and you would burn your ISO image, which this give you a general idea. I would have to do the whole video on this, and I really wasn't going in this direction. Go figure that. Anyways, Rufus, I always use it. It usually works for me. And then some cases it would, okay, here it is. If you want the standard, which is fine, you would download it. And once it's downloaded, I would just go to I always put it in downloads. And right there it is. I would just activate it, and then here's what it would look like. Yeah, it wants to update. And then whatever your flash is would be up here. And then you would put whatever you got here, which I don't got nothing. And just follow directions. And if you're doing it on this, you wouldn't fill out the little chart that comes up, because Chris Titus does it for you. Now, if you were doing the regular download, you can bypass a lot of that download or installment stuff that, you know, Microsoft's going to run you through. So this is a pretty hefty little tool here. Pretty nifty little tool. And I'm surprised I got all that up on this. So that is an option to debloat, and also to create your own ISO image. This is another one that allows you to do it yourself. You choose what goes on it and what you don't. If you had this, does it make a bigger image? Yeah. Anyway, see, you can do update drivers, and I think there's tweaks on it. There's a lot of stuff on here, and when you get it done, you would just create your own. And then another one to create your own ISO would be, I think this, no. Tiny 11 Builder. It does pretty much like the Chris Titus one. Okay, they both work creating your own ISO image. Now, say for instance, you say the heck with all of that. I don't want to spend that time. Well, there's distros out there that is debloated and stripped down models. Here's one that I use a lot, and I'm going to talk about some of them. I have a few computers, but beautiful website. I mean, my goodness. And these are the builds that they have. Windows 10 is still out there. And also you got 11, you got special builds, which would be, you know, stuff maybe like Mac OS or Neon. I think these are based on 24H2, which for now is still okay. Or you got ultra light builds, which you would have a Windows 10. Okay, you got that one. See, 2.8 GB install. And I've used some of these, and they actually work pretty good. I don't know that I'd be dropping down this low. They kind of outdated. But the one that I use, well, I'm using two. One on an old laptop to run my eDrum software, and then another one I use to edit videos and stuff like that. Is, let's go here. Let's go 25H2. And I'm going to talk a little bit about when you strip down winders. Is it really 25H2 or 24H2? Yeah, not really. When you start stripping away from what 25H2 is, it's no longer called 25H2, okay? It's a debloated, stripped down version of a winders, and you're just using a few frameworks to build what you want, which is basically, in my opinion. But I would go with this 25H2. It's their latest and greatest. Now, before you would do this, you would make sure of what license you got. Or if you've got the code, it don't really matter. But just saying. If you're using a home, now if you go to Walmart and buy a laptop or something, most likely it's going to have the home edition. When I ordered mine from Amazon, got it on sale and all that blah blah, or wouldn't have it. It's a little mini, and that's what I'm using here today. It would be Pro, whichever one. They both work. You would just download the latest one, and it's supposed to be updatable to the latest version or the latest build of Windows. I don't know. I see just like a 24H2 or a 23. I'm sure you can go in and do some tweaks and make it work. I don't know. But when you strip these things down, like I said, is it really called 25 or 24H2? I mean, yeah, right. Because you're kind of making it something that it's not. In my opinion, I could be wrong. But I use this one, and it works great. When you download this thing, you will have around mine was 5.9 GBs on your hard drive. Regular Windows 25H2 is over 20. Really. And this one works. This is good. Now, you can look, and there are some things missing. Before you would use one of these, you would make sure that, well, am I using some of this? Because, you know, if you're using some of this for the average user, you know, just debloat the Windows that's on it and use it. Okay? You can literally take away from these and really affect how it operates. Okay, because Windows is designed to be Windows how they designed it, like it or not. And you can take away from them when you start taking this, stripping it down. Now, debloating it, I'd recommend that to everybody because they put junk on there that nobody's ever going to use. Okay, this is what's removed here. You will have no browser on this. You will have a starter package. I've got videos out there on that. Edge. Now, if you need Smart Screen, you know, you leave regular Windows on it. And all of these things that they have taken away, which ain't much. Defender is optional. When you go to install it, it will ask you on or off. Okay? And the thing about a lot of these is I don't care if it's this one or some other version. Here we have 25H2 and I think this is Tiny 11 or something. All kinds of these things are out there. Be careful what you download. You know, watch a few videos, do a little research, because some of these, I know I use this outfit some, and most of these are okay. But like this one's probably okay, but some of them are out here that, you know, I don't know about. So, you know, research it out. And especially when you, over in Rufus, I've done took it down, but you can hit the little, let me bring that back up a minute. And it will give you some, I'm surprised it's pulling all of that. I'm proud of that to be a small computer. Right here, once you have your ISO image loaded, you can hit that. It should be a little checker then. And then there's some little places that you can read about, and it will tell you any warnings or anything such as that, or it's supposed to. But I use this outfit some. The LTSC came from there. Now, I want to say something about LTSC. Here I am. LTSC or Enterprise LTSC. Now, there's a Windows 10 that I would be using, the IoT, the extended version, that I would be using, but I couldn't get my graphics to recognize it. And I watched every video. AMD can be stubborn. Once you get it up going, it works good. Now, my Intel one picked it right up, and I'm running the Windows 10 one. And it is extended out to 2032, I think, the IoT. Where some, like 24H2 will be running out pretty soon, unless you have that Enterprise LTSC. But if you download LTSC from Microsoft, it will give you a 60 or 90-day free trial. After that, you will have to purchase from them, or that's a word through the grapevine. And honestly, I tried to run my little code here that I showed you earlier, and it wasn't accepted. But on these, bye-bye, Ron. Whoop, go, whoop. There you go. We need the screen here. Don't need you on it. Once again, a lot of people will upload these on here, and it's just a version of true Windows. Okay, so you would need to do your research, but I went with, I don't think it was this one, but this is the Windows 10 one that I have on the, no it ain't. Yeah it is. I have this on my other little mini, because it has Intel and it'll recognize the graphic card, where this one won't on 10 but will 11. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows about that. This old hillbilly don't. And I watched a lot of tech videos, and I wished I could get it to work. But anyway, I'm running the Windows 11 here. Going out to get off here. Going out to have me a drink of water. Yeah, this is the one that I use, or not. Yeah. Anyway, the thing about, now if you run these, you can run your code or run a third-party license key or activation key, where some of the one from Microsoft, I couldn't get it to work. So, okay, all of that being said today, all right, you can show back up, even though your background stuff ain't working right. Anyway, we'll work on that. I'm just testing this today, and I thought this would be a good little test for it. On Windows, what are you using it for? Like, let me go back here a minute, and I'll show you the one that I'm using on my drum software. Right here, I'm trying to, okay, go back here. And right here, I didn't discuss this. Bare bones. That is the only thing Well, the only things on it is to make it work, okay? Bye-bye, Ron, okay. And I'm running Atomic here, and I'm running this on a little laptop. The reason I need a laptop with my eDrum software is, well, if I take it and play it summers, and around here in these here neck of the woods, eDrums work great, especially in like a small church that we have around here or a small restaurant. It is impossible to get a full-size drum kit set up. And I had a little pancake kit that I built, and it didn't work out. So for me, eDrums work great in the smaller places we have around here. And I use this because the laptop is old, and it had Windows 7, no, it's 8.1 on it. Oh, Lord, we don't want to talk about that. And I couldn't update it no more. The time ran out, and I couldn't really do anything with it. So I thought I would try this. And it is a bare bones Windows installed 1.7 gigs. Now, when you use these, no Windows apps will work. You think you're on Linux for a minute. And in fact, the software that I use for this actually came from Linux that I saved from when I set up Arch Linux. I just had to find it in a different way than I would for Linux. Now, let me say something about Linux here. If you don't have to use, like my drum software, you either got to have Windows or Mac OS. I wanted to keep my arm and legs, so, I had to choose Windows. Now, on a smaller one, I thought that this would work pretty good, and I'm yet to try it. And you don't download or install, or nor does it have Windows Store. No, and you won't install it on this one. And in fact, I didn't find Microsoft apps to work on it. So you will have to use a third-party stuff. It does not have an updater. It does not have a defender. The only thing that I personally will use this for is to either record and edit, or in my case, use my drum software. Okay? And that's it. It's not going to be on the internet. I have no reasons for anything but my drum software. I'm thinking this might work okay. I set it up in a virtual machine, and it seemed like it might work. Now, through a virtual machine, stuff don't perform like it would on a regular hard drive. So, the thing about these, if you do banking or stuff like that, I personally wouldn't recommend it. I would go back to maybe just stick with Windows and Bloat it and set some of those privacy settings. If not, Microsoft might have you banking account. Who knows, So I thought I'd throw that in there. Okay, it's okay for you to come back. And for most users, this, if you go to Walmart or Best Buy or Summers and buy you a computer, just do a debloat on it, set some privacy settings, and use it. But for those of us that like to tinker and do tweaks and things on them, do your research. What are you using it for? Things such as that. Um, but like I said, I'm forced to have to use a Windows because of drum software and things such as that. I couldn't get it to work on Linux. And I'm going to wind this up pretty quick, but if you don't gotta have Windows, there is other options. And go away, Ron. Okay. And here in distrowatch.com, and they have a home page that this gives you the updates of everything. But right here is every Linux distro out there. And I know I use this one a lot. And if you don't need Windows for, in my case, drum software, this would be an option. Linux. And here you got different flavors. KDE Plasma, which is a beautiful desktop. Very customizable. You can customize, do what you want. If you need a lightweight one, this is the route to go. Or GNOME, if you just want to be different, and it's a good one. You also got Cinnamon and a few others. But you also got Mint. That's a good starting out place. It looks a lot like Windows 10. And in it, you also have a few flavors. Cinnamon, but you can make it look pretty good as well. Very customizable. This lightweight, that's the one I usually run because my computer's usually so darn old that they don't pull the others, or this one as well. A lot of choices here. This one is a lot like Windows. And there's a free and a paid version of that. And if you just want to get crazy, you can go with Arch, but that's a whole different story. You got to know what you're doing in the terminal. Let's see. Look at all of them. I know the first one I ever tried was Ubuntu. That's the first one I ever tried. Then I went to Mint, and then I went to Arch, and well, actually Manjaro, and then to Arch. And if you don't have to have Windows, this is an option. Just saying, throwing it out there. Where do you download this at? They've changed it in the last few years. Okay. Well. Oh, wow. Anyway, I don't know why we can't bring up the download. Download desktop. Here we are. And then you got the LTS is kind of like IoT in Windows LTSC. LTS, I just dropped the C, right? Channel. And here's another one. Believe it or not, theirs is pretty heavy for a Linux, though. But still way lighter than Windows. Very customizable. You can pretty well do Fedora. That's another good one. Pops OS is another good one. Debian is another good one. I ran this. Where is it at? Many different. I think this one's like Windows. There's one of them that's like Windows. Yep, that's it. A guy from China that used to work with Microsoft done this one. Anyway, it's all in what you need, I guess. Um, I'm forced to use it, so I do use Enterprise LTSC. Guys, I'm going to get off of here. I've been on here a while. And I just want to say, I hope everybody is doing well, staying on the upside, and man, I got to work on that background stuff. And yeah, stay cool, stay on the upside. I'll catch you on the next one.